Earlier this morning, Hypixel released a new update to Skyblock which happened to include a few new items, but also happened to break the game in some ways. My name is Derailious, welcome back to Skyblock News, and let's launch right into it. Starting off, there's actually quite a few new things included with this update. The first of which are all of the new fishing items. Heading over to Fishing Collection, and the Prismarine Shard Collection more specifically, we can see the Prismarine Necklace. This gives you Sea Creature Chance and Health, as well as having a full set bonus for the Fisherman set. You receive less damage from sea creatures. This is the crafting recipe, it's nothing too crazy, just a few enchanted Prismarine Shards and enchanted Prismarine Crystals, but that's not the only item obviously, there are others. Heading over to Sponge, we can see the Sponge Belt. This gives you Sea Creature Chance, shockingly, and also some health. It costs a bunch of Sponge and also Enchanted Sponge to make. Heading over to the Clownfish collection, there's also something else here, the Clownfish Cloak. This gives you fishing speed and sea creature chance, as well as having the full set bonus obviously. 3 enchanted clownfish and 2 stacks of regular clownfish will make this item. Finally, there is in the Clay collection the Clay Bracelet, which gives you strength and sea creature chance. You also receive less damage from sea creatures obviously. Here's the crafting recipe, it's very easy to make. This is a relatively early game setup, and also if you head over to the museum, you can actually put it in there for some free XP. So if you want to do that, this is a new early game set that will be pretty easy to put together. Next up, we have another few items. Notably at Elizabeth, we have a new cat item, the Cat Bouquet. This costs 2,500 bits, there's no discount here, but it does actually allow you to skip 5 days of wait time. So I see people wanting to use this instead of the cat flowers because, let's face it, having to click her over and over again was kind of annoying. I think this is pretty interesting. I don't think this is a huge deal by itself, but I do think people will like it. However, I want to say about this thing currently is that the Cat Bouquet is bugged, and it currently only works for 5 hours instead of 5 days. I don't know when they're going to fix it. The Cat Flower is also bugged, it only works for 1 hour instead of 1 day. I don't know how they broke it, but it was indeed broken. Next up, we have a few other items I want to go over, notably the Caduceus Feeder. As you can see, it grants 1.65 million XP now. Same thing with the 2 charges and reloading after 20 hours, it just gives a lot more XP, which is pretty cool. There were a lot of changes to menus in this update, and I don't really know all of them, but what I will say is that if you click Playtime, like you do your /Playtime, you can actually get a detailed Playtime menu. I don't know if this is from this update or one from a day or 2 ago, but regardless, this is pretty neat, and it does allow you to see exactly how much time you spent everywhere. And as you can see, I've spent 596 hours in the hub, probably all of them from making, videos and streams, a lot of hours in the private island, and a lot of hours in dungeons. This is pretty cool for players who want to make fun of each other for how long or how little they've spent in dungeons. I think it's pretty neat regardless, and I do really like this feature. Next up, heading to the Dwarven Mines, and more specifically the Cliffside Veins, we can speak to Silnar here, who has something to say about the giant cliff with the big crystal. Basically, he talks about the cave meeting that goes on there, and he actually has something special for you if you bring back the item you get from that little cave meeting. I haven't done this yet, but it's probably a little mini quest line. I recommend you try it out if you haven't already. This seems pretty cool. I also want to go over the issues that happened when the update was rolled out. Notably, a lot of things with co-op were broken. People were being re-added to co-ops after previously getting kicked from them. People were being removed from their own co-ops or changed around, and they fixed that fairly quickly, but the fact that it happened does still suck. There were also some issues with taming XP, people were losing theirs or losing certain levels. I don't know the specifics too much, but basically if you were above level 50, or like level 57 for example, you could have gotten reset to level 50. They stated that they will be fixing that stuff shortly, so they usually do, and I'm not really too worried about it. But with regard to the general issues of this update, I just hope we see less issues in the future. I don't want to really harp on this too long because then people in the comments will be like, well, you're complaining about it. And in my opinion, I feel like we have a right to complain, especially if it's not like a super critical complaint. I just hope that after the foraging update comes out, this stuff is generally resolved and we see a lot of improvements in this department. Overall though, my name is Derailious, thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future fellas, because I will see you then.